Alrighty, what is up, guys? I'm Mikey31 here, Madden 16 Annual Tampa 2 Series. This is part 2. Been about a week and a half, 2 weeks since part 1. Blame NBA 2K16 for that. It's all NBA 2K's fault. That and YouTube muting my original upload. But anyway, here we go. Part 2. What I'm going to cover here, I'm going to walk through the playbook that I'm using this year to play my Tampa 2 style. This is my primary defensive style of choice. It has been for years and years and years. It always works year in and year out. How good your personnel is, of course, will dictate your results along with your, individual skill level and ability to make adjustments, all that good stuff. But hopefully, as you continue to watch and play and we all learn from each other, the better you'll get and you'll be able to succeed. Now, in part 2 here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little walkthrough here of the Cover 2 playbook. This is the playbook that I use. I'm also going to very briefly touch on the difference between a Cover 2 and a Tampa 2. That seems to be a question that I get year in and year out. Not everybody is familiar with it, and that's okay. We're here to learn. And then I'm going to go over how I go about handling the main Cover 2 beaters, the most common ones out of the different variations of Cover 2, whether it be a Cover 2 hard or a Cover 2 sink. And that would be mainly for Verts, smash, trail, and Texas concepts with the halfback angling out of the backfield. So, here we are in the Cover 2 playbook, and there's other playbooks that you can use if you don't like this one. You don't got to do things verbatim the way I do it. Other good playbooks that I've liked and have used in past years and may still use from time to time. I just like a couple of formations in this playbook a little bit better than some others, but the Bucks have a good one. The Rams, the Panthers, and the Bengals. That's one I've used in the past. And I haven't looked at the Giants one, but the Giants usually have one that is pretty conducive and pretty friendly for this style. Well, that's about four other 4-3 playbooks that you can use. I do dabble into 3-4 as well, but this is what I primarily play. So you have here 4-3 stack, and this year, more than in the past couple, I base out of this more, either this or 4-6 against 12 and 22 pro style personnel, either one back, two tight ends, two backs, two tight ends, or 21 personnel, two backs, one tight end. I'm usually going to be in 4-6 normal or 4-3 stack. The reason why I am into the 4-3 stack a little bit more in base situations is that this is the year of the toss and stretch being the outside runs of choice. And 4-3 stack has a couple of really good outside run repellents, off tackle and outside run repellents. Like it is weak slant 3. The will fire 2. Now, because there's no such thing as a strong and weak side player in the game, I'll go over how I have my quote-unquote will and strong side players set up. Since there's no such thing as a strong and weak side player, I do it by field boundary. I always have my boundary side backer be my quote-unquote strong backer. Same with my defensive end. My more stout run-stopping defensive end will be my boundary D end, and my more athletic defensive end will be my, speed rusher field side defensive end, along with my most athletic outside backer being my field side outside backer. You'll see that when I go into where and when I play 4-3 under and over. But 4-3 stack will fire 2 is a good off tackle and toss defense. You can even play good off tackle and outside run defense at a cover 2. because the corners are going to act the closest thing that the game will have to having corners play force due to how they're playing in their hard curl to flat assignments. Too deep gap shoot. OLB fireman when you want to do some YOLO. Corner blitz 3. LB zone blitz. CB dog zone is one I really like. Those corners will act as sacrificial lambs, and that can really muddy up off tackle runs and tosses. They may not make the tackle, but they'll cause enough congestion to force someone to cut back into your pursuit, whether you're pursuing with an outside backer, middle backer, or block shedding with your defensive lineman manually. And you'll see, the variations of cover 2. You have cover 2 press, cover 2 sink, cover 2 show 4, and you have cover 4 press. And you have your cover 3 cloud and cover 6, and your cover 1 robber press. I play a lot more cover 1 robber this year than the past couple of Maddens combined. Your QB, your cover 1 QB contain, sting left is a good one for toss and stretch. And you have your YOLO blitzes like Thunder Smoke and Fire Free, and Safety Blitz and Safety Blitz 3. Now, I play 4-3 under when the ball is on the right hash. And the reason being is that if I'm playing a scrambling QB, I want my 7 technique defensive end on your left. He's going to be lined up on the outside shoulder of the left tackle there to cut off that scramble, whether I have my defensive end on that side on a contained stunt, a spy, or I'm using the edge rush stunt, which I'll show you a little bit later. And also I want my most athletic, speedy, best zone coverage combination outside backer on that side as well, because he's going to have to cover the most ground. It just makes sense. And my boundary backer, he's my hammer, against those strong side runs. Most offenses are right-handed, both in the game and in real life, and the tight end's going to be on that right-hand side more often than not. And if a quarterback wants to scramble, if a user wants to scramble, I'd rather him be forced to scramble to the boundary side where he can do the least amount of damage and where it's easier to cut him off than roll to the field side. So I'll have my field side defensive end in good position to really, wreck some shop if he tries to do that. And if I'm in a contained stunt or have him on an edge rush stunt. Only drawback is that in cover 3 cloud and cover 6, you'll have your hard flat corner on the field side. But if you do over the top coverage, you'll be okay. You won't get hurt too badly with that. It's not like in college where the hash is super huge, where you have a major problem. But you'll be okay. You won't be hurt too badly by that. The wide 9 here. When I'm in wide 9, when I'm not in stack in base situations, more often than not, because people are going to be tempted to run the ball between the tackles, unless, I'm super stout in there. I'm going to be sending a blitzer more often than not, like a Sam Blitz 3, a Fire Free, cover 2 invert, which is also a good red zone defense, and also a good, second and medium, third and short pass defense, stuff like that. But when I'm 4-3 over, what I'll do is I will flip the backers. LB flip. That'll get my quote unquote strong side backer. I'm going to be playing 4-3 over when the ball's on the left hash, or the right side of the field is going to be the field side. So I want my speedy backer on that side. And I'll LB flip, and then I will swap out my ends to get my 5, 10, 8 defensive end on the left, on the boundary side, and my 7, my best pass rusher, my most athletic guy, out of the ends that I have left on the field side. Same thing. And you can bring nice boundary blitzes with that backer, like fire zone 2, strong slant 3. You can bring a field side blitz, corner blitz 3, which is good to mix in when you're playing some cover 6, kind of keep people guessing. Sam Will blitz, Mike Will blitz for when you want to go YOLO. Cover 1, strong safety blitz. Kind of weird that 4-3 over has to cover 2 sink, but the under does not. And you have your 4-6 normal. Zone blitz here is a good run plugger with some reasonably safe drops by your defensive ends and your 3 technique defensive tackle underneath the 3 deep. Fire zone 3, good for off tackle and stretch, and fairly safe coverage behind it. Inside blitz for your YOLO cover 0, as well as rush outside for your stretch and tossers. You have your engage 8, of course. QB contain with a spy, cover 1 hole, cover 2 invert for those, red zone passing situations, and also you can play that on your 2nd and 5, 3rd and 5 type of passing situations along with this cover 3. Now, if I'm going up against a guy who bases out of spread personnel, say 31, 3 wide receivers and a tight end, either, under center or out of the gun or pistol, I'm going to be basing out of big nickel. I really like this step because it puts your strong safety in the box. And if you have a strong safety like Robert Blanton on the Vikings, who's got good press coverage, his press coverage rating is an 88. You can match up well against slot receivers and also have additional or better run coverage than a nickel corner would give you. The only oddity with this one is that it takes your linebacker, your middle linebacker, out of the game. Actually, it does not. What am I thinking about? I'm thinking about 3 defensive ends. Never mind that. I'll get to 3 defensive ends later on. So you're fine as far as the big nickel goes, as far as your backers being in the game who you want to have in there. Or in the 4-6 package, you can go 4-6 speed. What 4-6 speed does is that it takes those 2 outside linebackers out and it puts your nickel and dime corners in their place. So you can match up with spread personnel out of a 4-6 look. And you can really foul people up if they're not paying attention, because they'll think that you have, slow plodding linebackers there. They can spread them out and go down the seams or beat them in man coverage. You'll have your nickel and dime guys there where the outside backers were. Dime flat. What's the difference between dime and dime flat? The alignment will widen the slot and nickel. What's a slot and nickel? Your slot corners, and it will bring your safeties closer to the line of scrimmage. Really good for those 4 wide receiver or empty shotgun sets where you're just not quite sure what they can do, what they're going to do in those 3rd and 4th and 5 to 7 downs, especially like on 3rd and 5, where they can either catch you with a draw or throw a quick pass. You can play a cover 1 robber. Your strong safety will be closer to the line, as well as a cover 3 buzz. I can't speak today. Buzz, a strong safety zone blitz. You can show blitz out of that. I like this version of cover 4. You see the slots or more focused on the seams as opposed to curl to flat. And the corners in the cover 2 are going to be backed off slightly, but they're going to come down and press. And dime, you have, your usual stuff. Got some nice zone blitzes out of here. MLB Loop 2 is one that I like. I'd recommend using either the defensive end or that slot hook zone corner, using whichever side has the most threats, and get in people's way. People are going to want to hit the slot seams usually when they see this type of scheme. You can throw them off and jump one of them, and by the time they realize what's happening, hopefully you can get a sack or you can get them off their read and pressure will get there. Fire zone blitz and the MLB blitz. Corner roll 2 I like a lot. DB blitz 2 as well. Again, same rule apply. As far as I recommend using one of the two middle hook defenders, either the defensive tackle or the linebacker, whichever one has the most stress on them. Same when you're doing fire zone blitz or overload 3. Cover 2 spy will drop your 3-8 defensive tackle into a spy, obviously. Double buzz. I like double buzz a lot as well. And, out of double buzz and out of cover 2 and even out of cover 3, I'll play all kinds of games as far as hot routing things. Like for example, out of cover 2, I might hot route one side of the field to man coverage and leave the other side alone. I might hot route the corners and match up against the slots man to man. I might change them to purple zones out wide. Stuff like that. Just to kind of throw off the base looks. I might play cover 2 sink on one side, cover 2 hard on the other. You can have all kinds of fun. Nickel 3DN. That's the set that takes out your one of your backers that you want in there. It'll take out your strong side backer, quote unquote. Make sure you put him back in there if he's the guy you want on the field, which in this case it is. And three defensive ends will put one of your defensive ends at the defensive tackle spot. It'll leave your starting 3-8 defensive tackle in the game, but it'll give you more speed to, rush the passer and also to spy and to drop guys into intermediate hooks from the defensive line. Quarters, cover 3 drop. Cover 1 thief. I play a lot more cover 1. A lot more cover 1 this year. 3 seams, a play that I like. I like fire zone 2 deep. I'll call that in the red zone, and again on those change-up situations. There are gaps in this, so I will call this not in long yardage per se, but more in that 3rd and 5, 4th and 5 range, and in the red zone. Man up 3 deep. And double buzz play off each other very nice. So that's around the cover 2 playbook. Alrighty, so cover 2 versus Tampa 2. Here I am in a 4-3 formation, 4-3 stack, and I'm up against 11 personnel. 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 1 back out in the center. I'm in man align, so I have my will / field side backer head up on a slot receiver, middle backer, and my strong / boundary linebacker. And what cover 2 is ideal for, it's really much better suited to one, defend short passes over the middle, quick slants, shallow crosses, stuff like that. You have a lot of congestion there. So, I would recommend either usering the middle backer or the backer over the tight end. Either or. I mean, if you want, you can control the guy over, the slot as well. You need the guy who can really run, though, here. If you're going to be playing 4-3 against this type of personnel, I wouldn't play this against 4 wide receivers, but 3 wide receivers and 1 tight end, you might be able to get away with it if this guy can really jet. Think Derek Brooks in his prime. But if you really want to take away, or really commit to taking away those shallow crossers, those drags, those slants, you can drop an additional defensive tackle into the hook zone to really clog that up. So yeah, I got 2 controllers here for the time being. You can also spy, say, a defensive end. If you're up against a more mobile QB, the spy will drop into that area as well, a bit more shallow. And if he breaks out, you can press, R3 to attack him, like so. Let's go. So that's the cover 2. Good for the red zone as far as pass defense. Good against off tackle and stretches and toss runs. As I said before, you're going to be vulnerable to the between the tackle running game unless you're really stout up front. Remember how the Minnesota Vikings used to be built when they had the Williams wall? And they would just plug those, A gaps with man-mountain defensive tackles and just laugh at you when you tried to run there? If you have guys like that on your defensive line, you can do that and, manually plug with your middle linebacker or your outside backer, or if you're playing user safety, fill. Or if you're playing on your defensive line, have fun with their block shedding and, crush the between the tackle running game that way. So that is cover 2. Now, what is Tampa 2? Well, offenses aren't stupid. They said, you know what, instead of getting our receivers cracked, over the middle, rather than get their receivers cracked, they'll just decide to throw down the seams. Now, to combat that, the Tampa 2 was born. And you get to that by hot routing the middle linebacker, if you're not going to user him, to a deep blue zone. And that gives you a 3 deep. So now, verse 4 Verts, you have him running down the seam, and you have a linebacker matching the tight end. The outside corners. This is a pet peeve of mine. In real life, they want to make every effort to jam and redirect them inside. They redirect him outside here, but at least he forces him to redirect. And you sink back. So you got a bracket here. It's going to take a good precision pass throw to get it there. It's not going to be easy. Good bracket here. It's important to jam and redirect inside. Like, this is much better here to make the free safety's job or the strong safety's job as easy as possible to get over there to close off that flag or that streak route. Deep backer here, he has to be an athletic force. He's got to be fast. He's got to be able to zone cover. Think Brian Urlacher. So he's got to run right down that seam. And this tight end is carried very nicely here by this slot, by this linebacker. And this hook, I would use her if I'm not using the deep blue guy. I'd use her one of these 2 hooks. He should be gaining more depth. He's cheating inside way too much. I'll gladly close and rally on this. But the seam here is the thing. And he's nice and athletic and able to run with that slot receiver. Kendricks, he's got 85 speed, 90 acceleration, 74 zone coverage. Hodges, he's got 81 zone coverage. So he's got to be able to get on his horse. You can extend the depth of those hook zones by going over the top coverage and extend the depth of those curl flat corners.
Two jet! Let's go! 180! 180!
There's your Tampa 2.
Hey! Get ready! Wait,
Now, you see the difference when I went over the top with that slot linebacker? Did a better job of bracketing. And he's dropping deep middle. Reroute to the outside. I prefer inside, but, there's enough rerouting going on to, tighten that up. Same here. The safety here on this side, he has to split these two. He has to split 1 and 2 here. He does a better job of running with the slot down the seam, or dropping back further down the seam. Now I can do all kinds of fun stuff with this. I can man up the slots and, user the inside backer.
two jet! Let's go! 180! 180!
Play over the top.
Hey!
Like so, and just run right down the middle of the field. Let's have the computer throw the ball. I'm going to come out and dime.
Get ready!
Now I can do stuff like play man coverage on one side of the field, like so. And he's got nowhere to go with a check down there. I'm letting the CPU throw the ball.
Set!
I can man up the slots. And he jets out of there. If I'm worried about that back coming out of the backfield, I can go like so.
Get ready! 180!
That obstructs that bad boy.
Get ready!
If you're not comfortable on the backer and the middle linebacker, you can hot right on blue and use one of the slot dudes.
Let's go!
Whichever one you want.
Hey! Let's go! Blue 58!
You can mix and match. Play a cover 2. Play a soft one here with the purple zones. And remember, always over the top coverage. We can take care of the angle right that's by the back by dropping a guy into the hook.
Let's go.
You can man up the slots, come off of that and, crack that if you wish. Or you can,
Let's go.
drop a guy into that area, or either spy him or hook him.
Hey.
And he's forced to go wide. So there's a lot of ways you can handle that. Now at a trip, same way, similar. A cover two sink, same thing. You have man on the outside. So again, if you're covering with the middle linebacker manually, you gotta stay disciplined and skate out there. If you force a check down, great. Let the fight another down. If you want to take it away, again, do the same thing we've been doing, or I've been showing you. Hook, fly out of there. That's why you got to be able to run. And if you don't feel confident with the Mike backer, drop him back. And again, always over the top coverage audible to extend the depth of those hooks.
Blue 58.
Again, spy. And they'll rally. That's the Tampa too. If they catch it short, rally. And the spy and the hook will, force someone to hold it a little bit longer so you can get in that kind of position. Let's go against trips for Verts.
Let's go. Blue 58.
Same thing, man align. I'm gonna over the top. I'm usering. And again, if that's all that there is to throw to there, I'm fine with that for the time being. If I can afford to give that up, I'll give it up. Safety's in good position. Now, at a man alive, if you hot route the middle linebacker blue, be careful of where he's dropping. I'd recommend, controlling this guy here on the solo side and doing like this.
Let's go. White 90.
You see when I hot routed him blue, he went down to seam for this guy, but I got a guy here it has to be accounted for. That's where your backside user comes in.
Go.
Now you can man align it, drop him blue, and there you go.
Let's go.
Again, man align, again over the top. I'm going to hot route myself to a hook on the defensive line to cover any delay route by the back. And again, there you go.
Go.
Now potential, long yardage, 4-verse situations. I'm hot routing the corners into pinks.
Get ready. White in.
And that is why. And we got our run through by our middle linebacker.
Let's go.
So one more time, base align, blue, pink, pink. That's all there is. And again, if you want to account for that,
Get ready.
base align, hook yourself or hook another defensive lineman, and user it. There you go. So that's against the dreaded 4 verts.
Blue. White.
Alright, verse smash, and the hardest one is going to be verse trips because you have multiple cover 2 breakers. You have a guy down the seam, and you have a flat corner stretch point. And you have an outlet.
Set. White 90.
So here's a challenge that smash presents to a cover 2 / Tampa 2. guy going down the seam. You have a hitch. If the corner backs off, that's open. If he squats on it, the corner will break open. So what do? I'll give up the hitch all day. So I'll play over the top on that. And I will cheat on that sucker. And force a contested throw there. They can hit the check down and the hitch all they want. Within reason, until I decide, you know what, I can't afford to give up any more yards. I gotta squeeze down on that too. And you know, that's a bang bang play.
Let's go.
But you see the congestion I've created there by the over the top audible.
Set. Blue 58.
This guy is gonna sink nice and deep to help protect that, and I'm here. Now, you know, you have this outlet there, but whoop-de-damn-do. Again, if you're not comfortable with that middle linebacker usering him, you can, you know, use the solo side, you know, guy here. And you can drop your spies. I'm man aligned again. And there you go.
Get ready.
Texas. Be on the lookout for Texas. Whenever you see a back and a tight end on the same side, and they're both going out for routes, you gotta be on the alert for Texas. It's gonna put your middle backer in a bind. Who does he get? Does he get the back? Does he get the tight end? Does he get stuck in no man's land and allow that to happen? So we gotta account for that. How do we do that? Couple ways we can do that. I would stay on the outside backer, hot route the middle linebacker blue, play in between, and force them to go somewhere else. Now this particular version is really tricky because this has a Texas concept with a smash concept to the backside. So you have Texas here. I'm kind of starting out on the tight end before breaking off, because I know my linebacker is going to be behind me to break that up, so I can get him off that. But we also have a smash concept being right here. So we have both concepts here, smash and Texas, both really tricky for the cover two. Squatting on the corner. And my outside backer just isn't quite good enough to sink back there. So we can go over the top. I'm at 4-3, by the way. This is why you need to watch your personnel. So over the top helped him out a little bit. He obstructs that pretty nicely, and he sinks back further. Which is fine. I'll give that up. I don't care. Just believe you me, a good corner can still drive on that and pick that off or break it up. And, you know, I'm just kind of watching that back. And then I drive on him. See? He's going to break on that if he's got any zone coverage ability at all. There you go. And of course, you can always do the spy. Here we are with nickel personnel. If you need additional help there, you got your hook, you got your cover 2 dropper. And there I have a nickel corner there instead of an outside backer, broken up. So there's, you know, Texas and smash in one fell swoop, as well as the verticals. After your initial couple of steps, kind of just want to be non-committal and kind of play in between and really muddy up that read, like right there. You can also press it and hot route to man coverage in the slot. That just leaves you the tight end to worry about. I'm pressing him now. So now I can just play the tight end, and there you go. So, there's little tricks and games you can play to create combination coverages to take away the common cover 2 beaters when someone realizes you're going to be playing a lot of cover 2. Like here, I just manned up the slot receiver and pressed him out of that. So all I'm doing is manning up the slot and pressing him, and that leaves me on the tight end. And he's throwing it, wide and out of bounds. So that is, part 2, Tampa 2 versus the common Tampa 2 beaters. Your 4 Verts, your Smash, Trail, and Texas. Part 3, I'll go over, complimentary play calls and also walk it through in a live game because, you just can't live off of cover 2 alone.
White 90.
There's other plays in the playbook that you need to use in order to keep your opponent off balance and thinking a little bit. Big thing to remember with this is that the cover 2 sink is man press on the outside, so the corner versus smash is going to be vulnerable if you're not playing over the top or manually accounting for it. So keep that in mind. Hope this was helpful. Practice it and prosper. Talk to you all.